Hey, what's up guys? It's Rico here, CEO of Source in Asia, host of the Made in China podcast, and the host of the Source in Asia YouTube channel, of course, back with another one. Hanging out here by Echo Beach in Bali, Echo Beach Club behind me. There's a couple different sections where you can go to the beach. I think so far Echo Beach has been my favorite. It's not super crowded. You know, the waves are pretty awesome. The weather has been good today. It was raining earlier, but like it's pretty decent right now. And what I like is I like places where you can kind of pick and choose. There's a very busy area over there, and then this area is kind of quiet. So I was like, all right, I can get some filming in. Anyways, in this video, spending a lot of time at the beach by myself, I wanted to talk about the 5 lessons I've learned in terms of life and entrepreneurship from living in Asia for 5 years.
Water, colors, falling down the page. I thought of something, but don't know how to say. Even though I travelled on the train, even if I'm standing all the way. I'm bored of summers, if you're there in the rain.
Dreaming, you won't believe it. Like when it feels new but they're old feelings. Run flows for the whole evening. If I kick ball, I'd score goals for the whole season. Let it run like watercolours. Walked down the road and I thought of something. Real talk, I ain't talking rubbish. I've been here for 24 summers. There's a lot to be happy for here. I ain't seen you in 3 or 4 years. Came to my show and it was more clear. What I knew then wasn't what I saw here. At the end of it all, you're more happy. They say that it's just a word, but you're family. That makes my mum pleased too. You don't need me as much.
Lesson number 1, pick the right location, the right starting location for you. So for me, I chose Guangzhou, which made sense for me at the time because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. All I knew is I wanted to find a place that had a lot of opportunities and meet people there and get started in my entrepreneurship journey. So Guangzhou at the time, like in 2014, was an awesome place to be in because you had so many different things going on. The rise of Amazon, the whole manufacturing, crowdfunding aspect of things was still, like Amazon itself and just making products, doing crowdfunding was still relatively early stage. So it was like easier if you're coming from nothing to be able to pick a product, let's say even at the Canton Fair, and then do a crowdfunding campaign around it. Like that was still a possibility back then. That's impossible to do now. Like, you know, everything that's at the Canton Fair has been sourced already. So for me, Guangzhou made sense, and at the time it was so inexpensive. The other aspect is I could teach English as a way to subsidize my expenses while starting a business. You know, even that is more difficult to do now than it was then. But so if I was like leaving Canada right now and thinking to myself, when I start a business or when I go to Asia, I'm not sure if I go to Guangzhou. I might still go to China, but I'm not sure if I'd go to Guangzhou necessarily. I might pick another city, a smaller city just outside of outside of Guangzhou. And I think what you have to analyze if you're moving out is what sort of budget are you working with? What sort of business are you trying to start? What's important to you? A big thing that was important to me was being in Guangzhou allowed me to have access to other parts of Southeast Asia. If you move to, like, let's say Shanghai first, or you move to Tokyo first, then it's like you're then now limited in terms of where you can travel if you don't want to spend a lot of money. So those are things that you have to think about, I think, as well. And then think about the entrepreneurship community. Again, for me at that time in Guangzhou, it was awesome because we had a ton of people from China that were still in China, and specifically when Guangzhou, Shenzhen, Dongguan, I had a mastermind group with, you know, dudes that are my age that are all hustling, getting shit done, getting stuff started, and all of these people have gone on to do great things with their businesses and are living in different parts of the world, not just Southeast Asia. So that was a good community for me. I know for a lot of my friends, moving to Chiang Mai was also an amazing thing because they had a great community of people. I think maybe Bali, if you're talking, because this was the original, this is the OG digital nomad space. If you're talking 10 years ago, I think this was a great, well, maybe not 10, but like 5 to 10 years ago, I think this was probably a great spot. Actually, no, 10 years ago, it was probably a great spot for that. I'm not sure if it's as good now because I feel like the quality there's maybe more quantity, but the quality of the digital nomad people here now, I would question. So yeah, pick the right spot, pick the right starting location for those reasons that I just mentioned. All right, next, create a home base. So this is important. I think that a lot of people who read the 4-Hour Workweek and sort of want to get into being a digital nomad get stuck in the idea of just constantly traveling. It's a big misconception because in general, you can't really be consistent if you're constantly jumping on planes and changing cities every 2 weeks or countries every month. Now, obviously everybody's different, but for me personally, if I've never been to a location before, it takes me about 7 to 10 days to sort of figure out my shit, because the first 3-4 days I'm kind of traveling around trying to figure out what I like, what I don't like, what are the areas that I'm interested in. If I know people there, it accelerates the process, but if I don't know anybody there, then it takes longer. So if you're constantly doing that, then you're spending less time actually working. So that's one. And then two, I think the home-based thing is important because you shouldn't undervalue the value in creating long-term friendships and connections in one place. The fact that I've been in China for the past 5 years has helped me in so many different ways beyond my business. It's crazy. And even just the benefits that have come to my business from being in China for such a long time have been also fucking crazy. Like when I meet people around the world, like a lot of times I connect with people based off of the fact that maybe they've been to China before, they've sourced from China, friends in China who know people around the world. I have business contacts where if something goes wrong or I need a lawyer and things like this, I have contacts in China. Like there's positive and negative, and anything happens to me in China, I have resources that will help me. So that is a big thing, man. That is a really, really invaluable skill to have, and that's something that could potentially help me for the rest of my life. So I think it's important. I think it's important to create a home base. I'm not saying you have to be at that place for 5 years, but I'm saying rather than constantly spending 3 months here, 2 months here, 1 month here, why not do that for a while, figure out what the main place is that you like, and then create a home base there, maybe spend 6 months, a year and a half, and then even if you decide to start traveling again after that, maybe constantly come back to that place, maybe keep some roots on the ground. So for example, with me in China, it's like I'm gonna keep my apartment, I'm obviously gonna keep my office open, and I'm gonna constantly come back to China every quarter, every 3 months, and spend probably 2 weeks to a month in China. So like I'm gonna constantly be nurturing the relationships and my business there. So I think it's extremely important to create a home base. Also, it gets boring, like traveling every 2-3 weeks and stuff like that. It really does get boring. So from a productive standpoint, it's important to have one place that you spend an extended period of time in. And then from a just life benefits, business benefits, creating long-term relationships in a home base, learning the culture is going to help you in your life and in your business pretty much forever.